In the heart of a small village nestled between rolling hills and whispering meadows, there stood an old stone church whose bell had rung faithfully for over a century. Every morning at dawn, every evening at dusk, its bronze voice would call the villagers to prayer, to celebration, to moments of quiet reflection. For young David, that bell was more than just metal and sound, it was the heartbeat of everything he believed in. David was 8 years old, with curious eyes that seemed to hold more faith than most adults carried in their entire beings. His father, Thomas, served as the church's caretaker, a man whose weathered hands had polished those wooden pews countless times, whose gentle voice had led evening prayers when the pastor was away. The church wasn't just their place of worship, it was their second home, their sanctuary, their connection to something greater than themselves. But on that fateful October night, when storm clouds gathered like angry fists above their peaceful village, everything changed. The wind howled with a fury none of them had ever witnessed. Rain lashed against windows like desperate fingers trying to break in. Lightning split the sky in jagged tears, and thunder rolled across the earth like the footsteps of giants. In the morning, when the storm finally exhausted itself and limped away, the villagers emerged to survey the damage. Fallen branches littered the streets, garden fences lay twisted and broken. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared them for what they found at the church. The bell tower stood intact, but the bell itself hung silent and cracked. A massive fissure ran down its side like a wound that would never heal. When Thomas pulled the rope that morning, expecting to hear that familiar, comforting chime, only a dull, broken clang echoed through the air, a sound so hollow and sad that it made the children cry. David watched his father's shoulders slump as if the weight of the entire world had suddenly settled upon them. Thomas had always been the strong one, the one who fixed things, who made everything right again. But this was beyond repair. The bell had been cast in 1823, its bronze mixed with metals from a dozen different sources. There was no replacing it, no fixing it, no bringing back that perfect, pure tone that had been the village's voice for generations. That night, as his father sat at the kitchen table with his head in his hands, David slipped out of bed and padded barefoot to the church. The door creaked when he pushed it open, and moonlight streamed through the stained glass windows, painting rainbow patterns across the floor. He climbed the narrow stairs to the bell tower, his small feet making no sound on the worn wooden steps. There, beneath the broken bell, David knelt on the cold stone floor. He folded his hands the way his mother had taught him before she went to heaven 2 years ago, and he began to pray. Not with fancy words or complicated requests, but with the simple, pure faith of a child who believed that miracles were as real as sunrise. "Jesus," he whispered, his voice barely audible in the vast silence, "our bell is broken, and everyone is so sad. Daddy doesn't know how to fix it, and the whole village feels lost without its voice. I know you can do anything. I know you care about even the smallest things that matter to us. Please, if it's your will, help our bell sing again." He stayed there for hours, sometimes praying, sometimes just sitting in the peaceful darkness, feeling a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with the temperature of the air around him. As dawn approached, something extraordinary happened. A gentle light began to fill the bell tower, not harsh like electric bulbs, but soft and golden like honey mixed with sunshine. David looked up and gasped. There, standing beside the broken bell, was a figure he recognized from every stained glass window, every painting, every story his mother had ever told him. Jesus stood there, his eyes filled with infinite love and understanding. Without speaking a word, he reached out and touched the cracked bell with fingers that had once healed the sick and raised the dead. The moment his hand made contact with the bronze, the crack began to seal itself,